Come see this thing 1570. State Quasi-privatization, Banking on War, Little Pink House. This is a series where I summarize rantatonne posts made up of at least 3 things I have read, seen, or heard. First question. Is this another shuffling of chairs on the Titanic? Problems occur due to how we define X rather than what X is. And in Mortgage and Markets, which is an episode from Radio Rothbard from the Mises Institute, we have Ryan McMakin, the executive director, joined by Alex Pollock, and they talk about the government-sponsored enterprises that are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The Trump administration seems to be engaging in a process of returning these structures and other systems to the way it was when it led to that housing crash in the United States of America, where people were taking out mortgages that they just couldn't pay. This was because the state, with its carcinogenic effects, takes a generally positive American dream of home ownership and mutates it into this American reality of just crony capitalism. Next question. Would ending central banking end world wars? I've regularly mentioned how my economic worldview aligns mostly with what the people in the Austrian School of Economics are saying, Mises, Rothbard, and I have a project coming with Mises from that. But in this section, I highlight this video or interview or conversation that Richard Werner had with Tucker Carlson talking about central banks and different things. He is from a different school. He's focusing more on empiricism, which is not something that the Mises Institute does. They're more on praxeology and human action. And to that end, I have Bob Murphy here responding to that interview or that conversation on the Human Action podcast. And he also goes into the connections that were made to the Central Intelligence Agency and other intelligence agencies just around the world. And what are the general positives of the CIA, the Central Inquisition Agency, and these other things involved in that aspect of the state? With some institutions, you could say, okay, education is kind of a positive thing. Defense might be, you can even go as far as say roads, people want transport to get to places, but even those can get corrupted over time. But the CIA, from its break, what is benign about it? It and other inquisition agencies around the world are founded on the premise that in order to make the country they ostensibly work for the best, in order for its greater good, they need to tinker in other countries and make those countries worse. So I'm not surprised that they end up now just tinkering with the country themselves. It's not just taking down Russia in order to get Russia better. We need to take down everybody in America who's talking about Russia, who's talking to Russia. We need to take them down too, because we need to be sure that we can go support Ukraine and we can go to war with Russia, because if we don't make sure that Russia fights Ukraine, they're going to come over here and fight us. This kind of stuff is just nonsensical. But then when you have something like the Federal Reserve, you have this ability to just print money to support your monopoly of violence over a given area. You don't have to convince people with reason. You can just have this power over them. Just make the money printers go brr. Last question. Who has the right to be eminent over your property? Once you rationalize taxation is just and that we owe states for the right to possess X things that we consider our property, then why won't they occasionally just seize or commandeer the X that they claim is needed for their own greater good? Then 2 days in a row, I'm going to go to the founding fathers of the United States of America, and this time Thomas Jefferson with a quote he had about central banking. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of their property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. The issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs.